We're about to head back to the boat for the second phase of the restoration, but this episode is about what happened the first time we were there. So stay tuned for part 1 of the 2012 Leopard 44 restoration. The whole corner of this thing's ripped off. Yeah, and that's how the water was getting in. Ooh, that's the bad part. The absolute number one thing that I needed to get done on the boat was repairing the fiberglass. And while I was down looking at the boats, I found a crew that was doing some of the repairs on a lot of the other boats in the boatyard to come over and give me an estimate on the one I was looking at. But before any of that could start, I had to get the bill of sale for my boat. And once I did that, I called him and said we were good to go. He could start whenever he wanted. And within a couple of weeks, he started tearing it out, getting rid of the old fiberglass, and then started sending me pictures. Seeing them do these repairs was shocking. And the hard part would be that I was spending lots of money, sending him wire after wire, and hoping that it was a good job. And I had nothing to go by other than his pictures. And the other hard part was the fact that neither one of us would see the boat for another 8 months after he finished. Once I saw the boat in person, all that worry and anxiety almost was worth it because the boat looked that good. It looked like it had never been damaged to begin with. I was extremely happy with what they did, and people that see that boat now can't even believe that it was ever damaged to begin with. But the first people to see the boat were Tammy, her mom, and her aunt. They arrived in Antigua about 8 months after the repairs of the fiberglass were completed, and they showed up to the boat and got busy.
We're heading back to the boat. Our crate was delivered yesterday. We got almost everything out of it. Got it put in the boat. We've locked up the crate, screwed the top back on. Our crate alarm is going off.
Well, we're finally seeming like we're getting somewhere. We've got got this cleaned up pretty good.
Even without electricity and armed only with a water hose and cleaning supplies, Tammy, her mom, and her aunt began cleaning the inside of the boat from top to bottom and fighting through the fiberglass dust that had found its way to every inch of the interior.
Upstairs, there's still a mess in here. We're working on this side.
They also spent over a week getting a 1,700-pound crate full of tools and boat supplies through customs, which is no small task in and of itself.
Fiberglass dust everywhere.
They showed up to a mess of a boat and turned it into a comfortable and livable space during their 16-day vacation in Antigua for us, and I'm truly grateful for it.
Here's Janice. Janice working away. Whistle while you work. Whistle while you work. Fur, 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 fur.
The day before I arrived, Justin, Sylvie, and Xavier from sailing vessel Maitre D arrived in Antigua on their boat so that Justin could spend over a month working on our boat. And the first thing we needed to do was to hook it up to shore power. Right after that was time to see if the starboard engine was going to be salvageable or not. Justin removed the starter, the alternator, the freshwater pump, and while he was down there doing those, he discovered that the rear main seal was also leaking. And my first reaction was to panic just a little bit, but he had told me that this is something he's done, not to worry, we just needed to get the parts. But the most expensive discovery while he was down there was that the damper was also destroyed from the water intrusion. So he replaced the rear main seal, the damper, the front seal from the sail drive, alternator, starter, and freshwater pump. We replaced the oil in the engine and the sail drive, and we all thought happy thoughts, crossed our fingers, said a prayer, and hoped it started. Next was installing the batteries and the MAGNA inverter. This boat was a charter boat, so it never did come with an inverter. Only had a battery charger, and that was stolen while it sat at auction. So we installed an inverter. But to do that, Justin had to wire the boat for it and adjust the electrical panel accordingly. Then we installed the 320 amp hours of lithium batteries that I bought used off of eBay before the solar guy Will Prowse did a review on them, and the price skyrocketed. But I hope both of these purchases work out because I got a really good deal on both of them. The generator gauge cluster and the VHF radio were also stolen, so I bought the exact replacements that were on the boat initially to put those in so that there wouldn't be any problem with wiring it up. Generator gauge cluster plugged right into the Canon plug, and the VHF radio plugged right in, so both of those made the electrical panel look complete. I installed the rub rail on the back of the swim platforms, and if you couple that with the awesome fiberglass job that the guys did, it's easy to appreciate how good it looks.
Kevin's trying to put some rub rail around the back of our boat right now. It looks like it may be a little squonky from where they fixed it, so he's trying to cut it out to see if he can make it better. Him is the better maker man.
Then I needed to cut out and install the 1/2 inch thick, 6 foot long acrylic windows. I couldn't get a pattern for these windows, so I had to send full sheets of acrylic to Antigua in the crate and make a pattern, cut them out to fit, and install them. These windows, all the windows on this boat, take a foam spacer and are bedded with Sikaflex 295 UV, and each one of these windows took just over 7 tubes of Sikaflex to bed them in. Justin also got the windlass working and the dinghy davit winch up and running, and then we got the davits themselves all straightened out. We had to use a massive tie down to pop them back past the support and put them back in place. But to have an electric winch to lift up the dinghy is something that we're not used to, and it is going to be awesome to have. And I'd also like to mention how grateful I am that Justin took time to help us with this restoration and to get it going in the right direction. Without his help, none of this would have been possible, and I would have been lost without what he contributed. But in addition, I'd like to thank his partner in crime, Sylvie, and her son, Xavier, for taking time out of their normal cruising schedule to spend at anchor while we worked on the boat. We're ridiculously grateful to all of them for the sacrifices they made to help us. And after that was pretty much it. We ran out of parts and I ran out of time. I had taken a 4-week vacation to get this work done, and it was time to go back home, regroup, and after that I actually retired from my aviation job, began accumulating a whole nother crate of boat parts to send back to it. We also ordered a brand new dinghy from China, which is a whole nother story. We ordered a mast and crossbar and rigging from France, and all of those are in the process of being built and shipped to Antigua, and we're fixing to head there. But that's for next time. So until then, we'll keep filming stuff. Thanks for watching.
every day. Same question.
Good morning.
Who are y'all? Good morning. So,
We are home, sweet home.
Oh.
because you don't have a picture to go by.
That was sharp. Got that on video, huh?
I don't know. Is it deep? Superficial.
No, it's superficial.
Leg her down or smack 'em, yak 'em. Cold got to be. You know? Shit.